Hey there, party people! I was just scrolling through one social media or another, I'm pretty sure it was Twitter, and I stumbled across someone doing a tier list of anime tropes. And while I couldn't find that exact tier list, I was interested enough in making my own. So I ended up finding this one by D. Kirijo. I don't know who that person is, but I figured I would give them the shout out since I'm using their tier list. So, I'm going to be going through all of these various tropes that you can see down here, and giving my thoughts and opinions on them. Now, starting off from the top, and I'm going to likely repeat myself several times on this fact, is that all of these tropes, it is very dependent on who is writing, whether they're good or bad. What this tier list is going to be representing is how much that trope interests or disinterests me into a particular story. Having this trope is not automatically good or bad, it is ultimately depending on how it's written, but it colors my judgment on going into the anime if I really want to waste my time with it. And it kind of just starts off with that idea immediately with tragic anime backstories, because, yeah, that's a big trope. That's a big trope in most media. So it goes into B tier because it's highly dependent on how it's written, how the character reacts to it, how impactful it is to the story, all of that. Its existence doesn't really color my opinion of, oh, I'm interested or disinterested. It's just a writing trope. Across the board. But now Ara, I'm more interested in that. I am more interested in an Ara character being in a story. And signature attacks, I actually have to really think about this, because as a knee-jerk reaction, I feel kind of nothing towards the idea of signature attacks. But then when I really start to think about it, they're kinda hype when you really think about it. They are pretty damn hype when a signature attack happens. Especially when it's it evolves, or just an old classic you haven't seen for a while. That can be really, really hype. So you know what? I'm going to put into A tier. I don't think it intrinsically makes me want to drop everything and read the story. But a signature attack being in a story can be a plus. Beach episodes are always fun. Everything needs a beach episode. I'm really, kind of showing my hand here, but yes, I like beach episodes. Beach episodes are always so much fun. What's wrong with beach episodes? Sure, call me horny, call me a degenerate. They're legitimately always fun. Unless it's a bad anime, but you know what I mean. Same thing with cat girls, monster girls, and etc. Fair enough that they put this all into one category, just various types of non-human girls. So that's fine, and yeah, of course they go into S tier. I just put it in there without even talking about it. But yes, they go into S tier. They are great. Now, I have read bad stories with monster girls in them. One that I covered on this channel before, but most of the time, I'm just kind of yeah, I'm here for that. 100%. Explaining powers mid-battle. That is such a weird trope to put here. Yeah. I guess I'll put it in the B tier, because I've never really thought about this. I mean, I guess it is a trope, it does happen so often, but also, what is the alternative? Just having something happen that is unexplainable? And no one talks about it until afterwards, and you're in the middle of a 20-minute fight scene? I'm sorry. I would like to know what's happening in the thing that I'm watching. This is one of the ones I just do not understand on this tier list. Because, yes, again, it can be done poorly, where it's just blocks upon blocks of text without actually showing the action or anything. Or just a straight shot in an anime of just someone talking without showing the action. Yeah, that's bad. But if it's going over the explanation while still showing the fight, what is the problem. And I feel like that's what happens most of the time. It's very rare for it to just stop the action wholeheartedly to make an explanation. Having your audience know what's going on is not a bad thing, so I don't understand why this would be even considered to be on a list of good or bad things. It's just a thing that kind of needs to happen. I feel like this is like putting the hero's journey on this list. Like, obviously the hero's journey is more important than this kind of, what is essentially, expositing. Exposition. That was the word I was looking for. But anyway, it's just a thing that just kind of needs to happen, so whatever. I've wasted too much time on this. Fan service, if you are on this channel long enough, you know that's going to A tier. It's not like the be-all, end-all, because I've seen way too many trashy fan service that is just not good and not fun, but more often than not, my degenerate brain is going to lean towards it. It's not going to intrinsically hate it. And this is across the board fan service. We do need more guy fan service in just normal anime, which is fan servicey. Need more of that going on. 100%. I'm here for it. But fan service is just fun to me. Filler episodes. While I do want to put in the C tier because Naruto's poisoned my brain towards it, fundamentally, it's neither here nor there. There are some very fun fillers. There are some very bad fillers. Filler existence doesn't hinder shit. Power of friendship. I'm gonna put it in the C tier because while I do enjoy Power of Friendship when it's done well, it doesn't lend itself to me being immediately interested in reading or watching something. Like, if that is the thing where you're telling me, hey, this thing is about the power of friendship, and I'm just like, cool, like 95% of everything else. So it doesn't really lean me into it. It has to have some other hooks in it for me to be really into it. But ultimately, I do like the power of friendship. But again, this is more of a tier list of what gets me interested into a story upon first hearing about it. What tropes are in this story that will get me into reading or watching it. Genre deconstruction is in the same boat because people... Actually, no. I'll put in the D tier only because while genre deconstruction can be amazing, it can be a great study and experience to watch a proper genre deconstruction. The problem is that people call things genre deconstruction when they are not. So when I am hearing that, oh, it's a genre deconstruction, that's not going to adhere me to wanting to experiencing it, because I don't believe you. Like, on a deep, fundamental level, I don't think a lot of people really understand genre deconstruction. And to that end, I don't think I fully understand genre deconstruction. But by God, I'm not going to trust the people on Twitter to know what it is, calling any anime that slightly bucks the trend a genre deconstruction. I'm not here for that. And then harems, I'll put in the B tier, because while I do and have covered several harem animes, one of my favorite anime and manga is a harem anime, The 100 Girlfriends, which you should really check out, I don't care either way. Because it's such a mixed bag where I'm just like, yeah, could be good, could be bad. I'm not going to judge it by it being a harem. And that is probably the most contentious thing. It's probably more contentious than me saying I like harems, because so many people just don't like middle-of-the-road takes. Which most of my takes are. I try to take a nuanced, and that sounds so goddamn pretentious, but I do, and I'm sorry, but I do try to take a nuanced approach to my opinions on things. And harem just falls squarely in the center of, there are good ones, there are bad ones. I'm not going to judge the entire genre based on its existence. Well, I can judge, incest wincest. That's a loaded gun. You gave me a loaded gun right here. Because it's one of those things where it's like, it's fictional, so do I really give a shit? But also, it's it's what it is. Because I'm a big proponent of, it's fiction, it doesn't affect reality. Who gives a shit? But at the same time, I do have a moral fiber somewhere in me. So yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. Not another isekai, B tier. I am tired of isekai. But I'm not going to have the oversaturation of it really hinder it. Because the concept of an isekai is not the problem. It's just that every other anime is one that is the problem. It's just an oversaturation thing, but the trope is not the issue. That also actually kind of goes into the little sister characters thing, because I know the exact kind of character they are thinking of when making this part of the tier list. But on a deep and fundamental level, little sister characters are just characters. You gotta be a bit more specific if you want to refer to a specific trope, and not just say every little sister character. Really think about that for a second. And yeah, even thinking about the exact character that they are referring to. The very clingy and brother or sister con kind of character. Which, to be fair, just falls into the incest-wincest thing. So that feels disingenuous to make an entire separate separate trope for that. So I'm just going to base it on just a little sister character. Just the main character or any major character having a little sister, and that's insane to me. That is insane to me that is a trope to rank on being good or bad or not. What are you talking about? Now the 1,000-year-old lolly, I also just don't care about. I care about it so far as when they use it as an excuse to do fan service with the lolly character. That's a problem. That's no good. But a concept by itself is not going to stop me from reading or watching an anime. And it's also not going to intrinsically make me want to read it. So its existence is kind of nebulous to me. It's just like, there, again, good ways to do it, bad ways to do it. Like, if it's just a tiny character that is that old and is just doing normal things and not being sexualized and creepy, there's no problem here. Reverse for the other way, that is a problem. It's kind of weird. Kinda is an understatement, but you get what I mean. Again, the intrinsic trope is not the issue, it's what people do with it sometimes. Or probably most of the time. But there is a way to do it fine, where I feel like people wouldn't have a problem with it, unless they have a stick up their ass. You know, absent or dead parents? I don't care. That's just a Disney princess. I'm beginning to realize that there's just a lot of anime tropes that I just don't care about one way or the other. That's an issue. But I do care about pervert, and I don't really care for pervert. Like, if a pervert is a major character, like Master Roshi is an exception, because while being a pervert is a major character part of him, it's not his be-all, end-all. It's just like 85% of him. But I feel like nowadays, the pervert character more or less has no other character trait. Like, the closest we get to a pervert character in a modern setting that has more than one character trait is somehow Mineta. And that's a weird thing to say, because Mineta is not that great of a character. And to the Mineta fans, he does have great moments, and I did just say that he's more than a one-dimensional pervert. But at the end of the day, that's 99% of his character. The other 1% don't really save him too much. And it's just like, it's a very annoying thing when a pervert is a primary character, where that would definitely push me away from reading or watching an anime. But that's only if they are a major reoccurring character. If they are a side character that pops up not too frequently, or if they do pop up frequently, it's really only for a minute, 2 panels, stuff like that. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But it's really just when it's a major character where I'm just like, no, I'm not here for you. Power-ups are hype as hell. Like, let's be real here. They are hype as hell. Like, I want the power progression. Like, it's like, I want to see characters get stronger. There's like, you tell me that it's a story with really good power-ups and power progression, I am really there for that. That is really fun to watch, and it's really cool. It's satisfying, and I just love it. Student Council I'll put into A tier. Because I like a lot of Student Council anime. Like, it won't 100% grab me as just like I have to read every single Student Council anime, but if you tell me it's like, oh, it's an anime about Student Council, I'll be more inclined to listen to it. The idea of it, the pitch, all that. It's just a good structure to have for a group of characters in a story. It's like, okay, we understand these characters have some form of bond, even if it's only through the Student Council, and the story is going to revolve around it. That's a good focal point and a good way to have adventures and things happening. Now, this is the trope that I have the biggest problem with, because it's just the deades. Do you understand how many deades there are? Even just like the standard deades. There's at least 5? It feels weird to just lump them all into one thing. I can't put it anywhere else but B, because there's so many I like. Like, there are ones that I would be turned off by. Like, I'm not really into yandere stories, so if you tell me this character is a yandere, I'm not really going to be interested in watching it. But if you tell me a character is a kudere, I'm 100% there for that, because that's my favorite type of dere. So, what possessed you to put all the dedes into one thing? Because fundamentally, just saying the dedes is just saying that, oh, the character has romantic feelings. How they manifest is completely different between each story and each character and each trope, but we're going to put them all into one together. We're going to put them all into one thing. They're all just going to be romantic interest. That's what this trope is. It's just romantic interest. What are you talking about? And another passionate thing is the generic protagonist. I am talking over my words so much, but yeah, I hate generic protagonists. Though still, that is a very contentious thing to say, in the sense that, what is a generic protagonist? That people are going to answer that differently 9 times out of 10. Like, you may get 2 people that say the same thing, but everyone else, no, it's going to be different. People have different standards for what a generic character is. And usually it just means a poorly written character. A character that is meant to be an audience surrogate made into a protagonist. And that's generally what I take it as. So, yeah, I hate that shit. I hate when a protagonist doesn't have a personality and you're just supposed to imagine yourself as this character, because I have yet to read a story, watch an anime, experience a manga that has done that well. Because I can never put myself into where the generic protagonist is, because they do things I would never fucking do. So overall, it's just so damn annoying. But what's not annoying is a tournament arc. If you tell me a shonen anime has a tournament arc, I'm there. I'm 100% there. I love tournament arcs. Tournament arcs are usually the best moment in most anime that have any form of action. Even if it's not full shonen, if it has a tournament arc, that tournament arc is going to be hellfire. It's going to be awesome. I'm here for it. I'm also here for characters with fangs. Peak character design. Peak character design is giving a character a little fang. El Safo has a flesh fang, which is odd. Like, when you sit down and think about it for more than a second, it is odd, but it looks amazing. It's such great character design. I love it. High school I don't care about. It's just a setting. Like, yeah, a lot of anime is geared towards teenagers. So they take place in where teenagers are, which is high school. What do you mean, inner monologue? What do you mean? I just noticed this one. What do you mean? Why are we ranking a trope of just inner monologue? Again, that's just a generic writing trope. What are you talking about? Why is this here? Yeah, I went into B tier. Why would I give a shit about someone having an inner monologue? That's just how you write sometimes. Most things have inner monologues. Most characters have written inner monologues. Most writing has inner monologues. Why is this an anime trope? And why are you ranking if it's good or bad? I'm losing my damn mind here. Nosebleed, I don't give a shit. Overpowered MC. Yeah, I don't care for that. I watch several anime with overpowered MCs. Like One Punch Man, Overlord, Tensura. So many overpowered protagonists. It falls down to how well it's written. But if you're just telling me off the bat, it's like, oh, the main character in this is overpowered, you're not going to grab my interest that way. You're going to grab my interest with everything else surrounding that. So that trope by itself does not interest me. But I am not completely shut off by it, because again, I've watched plenty of good anime and read plenty of good manga that have overpowered MCs. Running with toast in your mouth. Like, yeah, how else are you supposed to eat toast? Like, really think about it for a second. How else are you supposed to eat toast if you're not running with it hanging from your mouth? What kind of freak are you? Hero-villain team-up. If you watched Dragon Ball Super Tournament of Power at the very end, when Goku and Frieza, which is the example shown here, team up, and you weren't hyped out of your damn mind, you're insane. You have no soul. You don't have a heart. Because that was the most hype shit of all time. When written well, a hero and a villain teaming up to fight a bigger villain is peak cinema. There's nothing better. It's so damn good. Time skips, I don't care. This entire B section is just like, I don't care. It's like, I'm changing this. I know I'm only 2 away, but it's just legitimately, why would I care? None of these are intrinsically bad. It's like, yeah, you can find plenty of examples of things being bad that fall under these tropes, but them by themselves, why do you think they would be so good, so bad that it would hinder something just by its general nature of existence? You can say that about any trope. You can say about any trope that just their general existence isn't good or bad. But there are some of these, like, I can say that, like, harems, I can understand there would be people that have opinions on them. The Deades, people have opinions on them. 1,000-year-old lolly, people have opinions on them. But a lot of these are just things. These are just writing tropes. Just generic across the board. They are just things that just appear in most media. There are time skips in various types of media. There are isekais even in Western media. Filler episodes are across the board. Tragic anime backstories and absent or dead parents is like, that's every fucking Disney movie. So it's just like one of those things where it's just like, why are we ranking some of these tropes as being good or bad when they're just ways to write? I may not be explaining this as well as I think I am, because it sounds hypocritical thinking on it. But like, really think to yourself. If someone told you that, oh, in this shonen anime, in the middle of the battle, they start explaining powers when they come up and you haven't seen them before, would you really think that's a good or bad thing intrinsically? Like, it's not like saying, oh, this is a harem anime, but you're gonna have an opinion on that because that's a genre. Well, at this point, it is a genre. But that's something to have an opinion on. Or another instance, oh, this detective noir anime, this character has an inner monologue for maybe a paragraph. Are you really going to think that trope is intrinsically good or bad? I hope that explains it a bit better what I'm trying to get across, because obviously you can have opinions on all tropes, and you are going to have opinions on all tropes, and sometimes that opinion is no opinion. But in terms of just this ranking list, not even how I'm using it, why are we ranking inner monologues or time skips as something that is good or bad? Even if it's a personal opinion. Because who has a positive or negative opinion on these things as they are? I just hope that made sense. Anyway, training arcs. I'm always down for a training arc. And transformation sequences are hype as hell. I love transformation sequences, especially when they lampshade them a bit. Great. That's genre deconstruction. Anyway, so that's the tier list. I went on a damn rant there towards the end. Sorry about that, and also very sorry if I am doing this off the cuff, off the top of my head, just kind of rambling. So I hope any of that made sense, because again, I'm sorry if I came off as a hypocrite in just like ranking things and then talking about why are we ranking things, because that's not the point I wanted to get across. But I hope I ended up getting my point across at the end there. It's just that some of these tropes, I can't see people having a positive or negative opinion on. Just neutral things, just things that appear in, I want to say, 90 to 95% of all stories. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments below, what tropes you like, what tropes you would have added, all that fun stuff. And I hope to catch you next time in the void. Later.